And it's honestly worse than I could have imagined because after Marjorie Taylor Greene jumped ship, I expect that was going to be the only domino to fall. But no, Donald Trump's closest advisor and maybe partner, which I'm saying maybe because I don't want to get sued for defamation here, Laura Loomer is now going public with Donald Trump's worst nightmare. And why? It's somehow because of the grift, which MAGA always loves, but not in this instance. We're going to get into it all, but before we do, if I could quickly ask you to leave a like on this video, and if you haven't already and you enjoy our channel, to hit that subscribe button because it goes a long way in supporting our work. Now, before we get into why Laura Loomer is turning on Trump and the nightmare that she just went public with for him, we need a bit of context because it relates to the announcement that Pete Hegseth made today about Qatar, and that all starts with Trump's jet, which Senator Chris Murphy broke down all the important context on right here.
You've likely been paying attention to one of the biggest corruptions in the White House. This is the transfer of this luxury jet from the country of Qatar to Donald Trump. He's planning on taking this jet with him to use privately for him and his family after he's president. I mean, that's absolutely outrageous. But what we have learned this week is the price tag. Because in order to get this jet ready to be used by a president of the United States, it needs a massive upgrade. And the price tag now looks to be about $1 billion. And there is reporting that right now the Department of Defense is taking money from other critical accounts that protect the United States from attack and using that money now to get that jet ready for Donald Trump to use personally. $1 billion of your money is being used to give Donald Trump and his family a private, personal luxury jet. That's unacceptable. Democrats and Republicans should stop that from happening right now because it's never happened before in the history of the country. No president of the United States has taken Air Force One with him when he left office, and to add insult to injury, we're now talking about $1 billion of your taxpayer money going to fund this project. So as we get more information about how deeply immoral and corrupt this transfer and retrofit of the luxury jet is, it makes it more important that Republicans in Congress join us to stop this from ever happening.
So, of course, Donald Trump took his $400 million jet, which ultimately, as is always the case, we will have to pay for. I must also point out the fact, as we've been talking so much about those companies, those law firms, those colleges that have capitulated to Donald Trump, his library is actually taking the jet. And when ABC or a law firm or any organization has settled with Trump and paid him millions of dollars, it's been paid to his library because that is where he can centralize the grift and spend money on his jet for fuel or meals or whatever it may be, another golden shitter for his vanity projects. But that is what Donald Trump is focused on in the presidency, of course. It is how much money can he extract through crypto and jets, which is why this announcement today from Pete Hegseth about Qatar wasn't so shocking to me, but apparently it was to Laura Loomer, who we're going to get into her thoughts because, wow. But first, let's take a look at the announcement.
And I'm also proud that today we're announcing or signing a letter of acceptance to build a Qatari Emiri Air Force facility at the Mountain Home Air Base in Idaho. The location will be host a contingent of Qatari F-15s and pilots to enhance our combined training, increase lethality, interoperability. It's just another example of our partnership. And I hope you know, Your Excellency, that you can count on us.
So what in the world, what is the thought, what is the thought process behind this besides the fact that the Qataris gave Donald Trump a jet? Like, that is the only thing that could possibly explain this move. There is no safety. There is no strategic, I guess, ideas being presented of why this is important. Sure as hell, Pete Hegseth is fucking off the GNTs. He's not going to explain why this is a good move, and I'm sure all the generals are laughing behind his back. But no, this is full, blatant corruption. That is all it is. Donald Trump says, if you give me a jet, if you cut me a big check via my crypto scam, whatever you want, it's here for the taking. Donald Trump is literally giving up land in the United States in exchange for a jet. That's how much he's selling you out. Are you serious right now? That is what we are seeing. And I know we can see it because we've seen it all along, But clearly now, it's too much for Laura Loomer. She just went public over the news Donald Trump doesn't want to hear, and boy, it's not good. Trump's biggest ally turns on him over shocking move. Far-right influencer and informal Trump advisor Laura Loomer fired intense, damning criticism of the Trump administration for gifting Qatar an Air Force base in Idaho Friday afternoon. Does this mean the call to prayer will be broadcasted in Idaho 5 times a day? She racistly posted on X. Do we need to pay for the Arabic lessons, or will those be funded by the Imri? P.S. Do we need to chop our, I'm not going to say that, off too, to appease Muhammad while we walk around in black trash bags? Wow, this is really xenophobic. Asking for the women of America. The administration's stunning gift to Qatar of an Air Force base on Idaho soil looked to many like textbook quid pro quo. Qatar gifted Trump, 79, a Boeing 747 months ago. In April, the Trump organization bought a golf course on Qatari soil. While most onlookers have slammed the air-based gift on corruption grounds, Loomer, 32, expressed anger that Trump had gifted American land to funders of Islamic terrorism. If the GOP continues to Islamify our country, Jesus, and continues to allow funders of Islamic terrorism from Qatar to come into our country when they have a documented history of funding Islamic terrorism, I am not voting in 2026 and won't be able to encourage others to do so either. Qatar has indeed given billions of dollars worth of financial support to Hamas, according to many reports in 2017. During his first term, Trump said Qatar funds Islamic terrorism, though apparently his view of the country has improved. Loomer's break marks a second MAGA darling to have taken an outspoken stance against Trump and Republicans in recent days because, of course, outspoken Republican Marjorie Taylor Greene has similarly broken with Republicans in recent weeks over the government shutdown and the release of the Epstein files. If Laura Loomer can see it and is calling it out, Democrats, blast this message nonstop. Donald Trump is selling America out for golf courses and jets. Is there more elitist shit than that? Seriously, why do we allow these guys to define the terms of the argument that we have, saying that Democrats are elitist? Jesse Waters, with his face covered in makeup in New York City, surrounded by Ivy League grads and former White House officials, claims that Democrats like AOC and Bernie Sanders are elitist. Like, if that's not the biggest hypocrisy you've ever seen, I don't know what is, because they love to lie, and they love to look down upon you while they say that Democrats are the ones actually doing that. No one has more disdain for their voters. No one thinks their voters are fucking stupider than Donald Trump and MAGA. They know they're idiots. It's why they think they can always get them to fall in line. It's why they know they'll always allow them to grift. And Laura Loomer, I don't want to give her credit. She's saying this from not a place of calling out the hypocrisy of the administration. It's more of a xenophobic place. It's a racist place that she's saying it from. But she is calling out Trump. And if we're not able to do so, of course we will. But come on, guys. Let's rally the troops around this one. I think this is kind of a slam dunk that Donald Trump is literally selling you out to a foreign government in exchange for, like, party favors. This is crazy. Donald Trump does not actually care. And all the while, well, he's not worried about who's funding what wars where. He's making sure that he's certainly funding them at home, because that's probably what this military base is for. So Donald Trump can have some backup from Qatar going into Chicago. And that is exactly why J.B. Pritzker has been calling him out, as we need more Democrats too. And I want to take a look at that right here.
Start with the idea that this is a convicted felon. I mean, think about that, who's threatening to jail me. I got to say, this guy's unhinged, he's insecure, he's a wannabe dictator, and there's one thing I really want to say to Donald Trump. If you come for my people, you come through me, so come and get me.
What does that mean exactly, Governor? Do you believe that he would follow through or that he'll chicken out? He basically said the same thing to Governor Gavin Newsom when I was with him at the height of the raids in the Los Angeles area. Governor Gavin Newsom is walking free on the streets of California. You think that he'll chicken out, or would he ever arrest you?
Well, you know the expression, Trump always chickens out, taco. And I got to say, he can't arrest. We've done nothing wrong here. And very importantly, it's Donald Trump that is breaching the Constitution, breaking the law. We're taking him to court, and I believe we're going to win.
Right now, in the Chicagoland area, the Texas National Guard is staging for a deployment that Governor Greg Abbott has ordered. What's the latest? Do you know where they are, what they're doing at this hour?
Well, to be clear, Donald Trump ordered it and federalized those troops, and Greg Abbott's just going along. This is the same guy, by the way, Greg Abbott, who last year complained when Joe Biden tried to call up his National Guard and actually wrote a letter, signed a letter opposing that. Now he's okay with it because why? He's a lackey of Donald Trump. So we know that the Texas National Guard has been staging in Illinois. They're not yet, as far as I understand, on the streets, but I want you to know, the federal government is not communicating with our state.
They're not talking to you about where these troops are going.
It's unconscionable. This has never happened before. They're calling out troops onto the streets of a state that doesn't want them, and they're not even telling us where they're going to go, what they're going to do. This hasn't happened, I don't think, since the Civil War.
Let me ask you about the lawsuit. You have sued to stop their deployment. You didn't sue to stop National Guard on a nationwide level. You sued to, correct me if I'm wrong, just the Texas National Guard.
Actually, no. We sued to stop him from calling out the Illinois National Guard, the Texas National Guard, and all other National Guards, because it is unconstitutional.
On the streets, even before the National Guard has made it to the streets of Illinois, you've got the Border Patrol. I was in Cicero yesterday, a 90% Latino population, and I watched as they not only pick people off the streets, but family members would come up to me and ask me where their family members were. I watched you with Rachel the other night here on MSNBC, and you were talking about how CBP has basically used the justification of the 100-mile border rule to allow the deployment here, and they're saying the border of Lake Michigan, the coast of Lake Michigan is the border. Lake Michigan, many people reached out to me and said, Lake Michigan doesn't even touch Canada. Are you thinking about suing to stop the deployment of the Border Patrol here as well?
Look, I think it's important to recognize that the Trump administration doesn't seem to respect any laws in the United States. They just do what they want to do, and they'll keep doing it unless someone stops them. Here in Illinois, we're stopping it. We're doing everything that we can to push back. And yeah, they've got armed, we're talking about automatic weapons and camouflaged, and they're not soldiers, right? These are ICE and Customs and Border Patrol agents that are roaming the streets of Chicago, in downtown Chicago. Why? It's a show. It's a show of force. And why does Donald Trump want to do that? And I've said this before, and I think it's important for people to hear it. He wants to militarize major cities across the United States, especially blue cities in blue states, because he wants us to get used to the idea of military on the streets, military troops.
This is how every Democrat needs to sound. This is how we have to hit back against the administration. And this is what we are going to continue to uplift on this show. If you want to support that, as always, you can hit that subscribe button, leave a like on this video. If you stuck around to the end, drop a blue heart in the comments. And if you want to support the show in another way, you can click right here to subscribe to my Substack, or right there to watch me debate Piers Morgan and Michael Knowles. Keep on fighting. Don't let them silence you. And until next time, I'll see you soon.